Welcome to the C-Suite Open Video Series with TMX Group. I'm Arnie Goldstein, Head of Company Services based out of Vancouver. Joining me today is Spiro Khouri, the CEO of TGS ESports, one of our newest listings, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the ticker TGS. Spiro, welcome. It's a pleasure to host you here today.
Pleasure to be here. It's still kind of surreal hearing that, Arnie. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about TGS, and what are the three things right off the bat that you'd like to highlight with your existing or potential investors about TGS and your new listing?
Yeah, I think the three main things we'd like to highlight are number one, esports is a growing and burgeoning industry, and we're at the forefront of that, specifically here in Canada as of today. And so that's super important for us to get out there. Number two is I think we want to talk a bit about the niche that we fill. When people think of esports traditionally, they think of the professional landscape or they think of the content that's being created. We've created a community center that targets youth and then those that are maybe past their prime in esports. Think about the 95 or 96% of people who aren't at the professional level. They need a place to participate, whether it's online or in person. And for us, that's kind of the niche that we fill. And then the third thing is, we feel like video games have an ability to bring people together. Video games tell story. Video games are great at creating emotional attachment to characters, and so we're able to use those video games to truly build a community. When you go to a traditional community center and they have drop-in basketball or they'll have yoga classes, those are meant to bring a community together by using a conduit. We do the same thing, just our conduit is video games, and they're fun and they're enjoyable, and when people get together and play those games, it's a pretty magical experience.
Well, that's fantastic. I love the inclusivity of what you're doing here. That's really nice. How would you sum up the investment proposition for TGS?
Yeah, I mean, for us, the investment is in the growth of the industry and the growth of the space within Canada. So, when we started down our journey, we were one facility in Richmond, BC. That's kind of what our goal was. And as we built, we quickly realized there are a lot of gaps that need to be filled in this space. For those that are 6, 7, 8 years old, all the way up to those that are 50, 60 that are still playing, Counter-Strike has been around for coming up on 20 something years now. And so people like me who are in their late 30s, we played it in high school, but we still play it. And so, we have the ability to be able to bridge those gaps and bring those people together. But as we started to grow, we realized that it's not just about a facility, it's about a community. And so what we're doing is we're taking it, whether it's in person or online, and really focusing on developing a community within esports that's going to help the overall industry internationally grow. We're starting here in Canada and then have aspirations to grow beyond that. But when you look at us as a value proposition, it's you're investing in the overall growth of esports to start in Canada and then beyond. And
Canada loves esports.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the landscape of professional players that come from Canada, or even just the Canadian teams, whether it's the Vancouver Titans, the Toronto Defiant that are representing Canada in either the Overwatch League or the Call of Duty League with the Toronto Ultra, there's great representation for Canadians.
Absolutely. What are some of the near-term catalysts that investors should be looking for with TGS?
Yeah, so it's funny because when we were open pre-COVID, we were seeing a massive spike in attendance from December through the beginning of March. We saw month-over-month increases between 30 and 60%, which meant people were buying into the concept of going somewhere to game, getting out of their house and going to game. The world has been flipped on its head a little bit, and now it's the opposite. And so what we've been able to do is transition to an online model and still continue to build that community while playing tournaments online. I think when you look at the industry as a whole, now is the best time. It was impossible to find a Nintendo Switch for a while. Even finding a PlayStation or an Xbox was extremely hard. Buying webcams, not only for people who were utilizing Zoom, but for those that wanted to get into creating YouTube or Twitch videos was massive. And you look at the audience, Twitch as a service, the world's #1 live streaming service, in the month of February, had about 900 million hours watched on its platform. In the month of April, that jumped to 1.9 billion. And so people are at home and people are taking this content in. And when that's happening, even if a percentage of those drop off, it's not going to be all of them. So we all believed that esports was on a massive growth trajectory. I think what's happened recently is it has accelerated that trajectory probably by 12 to 24 months. And so now it's where we thought we would be. And so everything is moving really quickly. But we believe that now is a great time. And even as, the world starts to normalize and hopefully, get out of this pandemic at some point in the near future, those that have now interacted with gaming in some way, shape, or form are still going to continue to interact with it.
I love it when a necessary pivot becomes a formula for growth. It's fantastic. Pivoting a little bit here, what does being listed on the TSX Venture Exchange mean to your company and your stakeholders?
To us, it means opportunity. It means growth. It means taking the next step in our evolution. Again, when we started this idea back in 2017 and opened it in 2018, we did it on a shoestring budget. We did it with a dedicated team that was willing to work for ramen noodles. I mean, that's the old adage, but that's what they were willing to do. And we just built brick by brick. We built and built and built. And we've always had aspirations to take our thoughts and ideas to the next level. Our team is built of leaders. Our team is built of people who worked at university esports programs, who did entry-level jobs interning for different esports organizations. And our team truly wants this thing to become bigger and better than a facility in Richmond, BC. And that's been our goal and aspiration from day one. And so by being listed and by having anyone be able to join us in that journey and that opportunity, it means so much to us as we look to take the next step in our evolution.
Well, thank you so much. And Spiro, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. I really look forward to working with you on into the future.
Likewise, Arnie, thanks again for having me, and really look forward to being your partner for a long time.